Becky McKenna. My thanks to Governor Scott Walker, who was just on the show. As I mentioned, the next hour, my interview with Karl Rove. But first, a person I got to know at the Republican convention here last year. I co-chaired the Republican convention. And I tell you what, I heard this guy in action at the Waukesha-Romney-Ryan rally, and for a guy who's never been in politics in his life, first-term Congressman Reid Ribble, you know how to get a crowd going, pal.
Well, all I was doing was sharing my excitement about Paul Ryan being put on the ticket, and it was fun to be there, I got to tell you.
Yeah, it was, and you were great, man. You were fabulous. Well, I can't. And I know you've got about 5 minutes here because you're busy down there at the convention. How about last night? Impressions?
Oh, man, Paul Ryan was incredible. America got to see what you and I get to see because we know Paul. We saw a genuine, real, caring American who's a family man who made the case. And he made the case to virtually every generation of Americans why we need change. I was proud of Paul Ryan last night, but most of all, I was proud that he went on that stage and was who we know he is. He stayed true to himself.
Now, Reid Ribble, one of the things I like about you is well, two things. Number one, when we had dinner at the same table at convention, you and your wife didn't fall asleep while I was talking. So that was one thing. But the second thing that I like, among other things about you, is you come from a business background. You're not a politician. You came out of the private sector to run against a two-term millionaire incumbent Democrat legislator, and you beat him not as a politician, but as a business person. Here comes, Mitt Romney, who did one term as governor, but otherwise hasn't had a political background per se. I think that brings something to the table here.
Well, it does, particularly at this moment in history. I think Governor Romney has the perfect resume for what this country needs. And this country needs a leader, but it also needs a manager, someone who's got the skill set, that has seen the type of problems and has been able to turn things around. I believe Governor Romney is the right person at the right time for America.
Paul Ryan, Paul interestingly said last night, Congressman Ryan, that he spent a fair amount of his career in the public sector, but you know what? Listening to that speech, I wasn't listening to him going, wow, this guy sounds like he's been around for 30, 40 years and just kind of, growing grass in the Congress. This is a guy who, for as much time as he's done in the public sector, which he knows they'll go after him on that, he spoke to kitchen table issues that everyday people deal with. And I think that's one of his strengths.
Oh, it's absolutely one of his strengths. And he did it in a way that allowed him to be him. It was in his cadence. It was in his speed and tempo, and it was in the thoughtful approach that he takes to living his life. He is now serving the public in that same way.
Yeah, what does, and I asked the governor this a few minutes ago, and I suspect you'd be pretty much on the same wavelength, but Mitt Romney, the speech of his life tonight. I mean, it's one, he's done one term, 4 years as governor, but otherwise ran the Olympics, successful in business, everything. We saw what Paul Ryan did last night. Your opinion, what does Mitt Romney need to do tonight?
I think Mitt Romney needs to go out there and be who he is. I think the single biggest thing that Mitt Romney could do tonight is to let the American people see inside his soul. When President Obama said to American business owners, "You didn't build that, someone else did," we got to look into his soul. And what America needs tonight is a chance to see inside Mitt Romney's soul. He needs to open up and be the genuine person that I've come to know. And I think he's going to deliver tonight in a way that will make his case. And people will see that he's not just this stick man. He's this rigid guy who they think the other side has tried to build that perception of him. He needs to come out and just be him. And when he does that, he will do it convincingly.
I was thinking about you yesterday because I saw a poll last week that showed that when they polled small business people about what they thought about the presidential election, Mitt Romney leading with small business people by over 20 points. I mean, the jobs creators of this country, I mean, the people, the more people they employ, the more we can do, the more families get protected, all of that. Mitt Romney gets that equation. You get that equation. This administration does not get that equation.
They do not. They do not understand it at all. They believe that more government and more social engineering from Washington, D.C. is how you solve problems. But the American people know that the way you solve problems is by unleashing the power of the entrepreneur, unleashing that small business to grow and hire and expand and make something. Listen, you're not going to be able to pull the wool over the eyes of the American voter again. And I believe firmly that on November 6th, they're going to make a change.
Reid Ribble, before I let you go, one last question. You have a national personality coming to your neighborhood on Sunday. Vice President Biden will be in Green Bay this Sunday, I think, at the Railroad Museum. I've done some events there, and the Vice President, your backyard. Let's just say, on the chance that you two don't catch up while he's in town, on the off chance, it's possible that you don't. Even though I know you respect the office of the Vice President. What does Mitt Romney? What does this ticket need to do, Wisconsin? The question I get from national reporters every week: well, does having Paul Ryan on the ticket help in Wisconsin? I think it does.
Oh, I don't think there's any doubt that it does. Of course it helps in Wisconsin. And there's a new energy in Wisconsin right now, I think, because of it. And I see it when I'm out meeting with constituents and talking with voters. They're energized about Paul Ryan. Independents like the fact that he's a genuine guy. They think he's smart. When you stop and when you talk to anybody and say, what do you think about Paul Ryan? The first words that come to mind are not negative ones, they're positive ones, and I think it's a good thing for Wisconsin, and it's going to be a good thing for America.
Another great guy, Congressman Reid Ribble from Green Bay, Wisconsin, a first-term Republican congressman from the Fox Valley. I know you're busy down there at convention. I sure appreciate you calling in today.
Brian, thanks for the kind words. It's good to talk to you.
Back after the break, everyone. You're listening to News Talk 1130 WISN.